focus on Alex Ross stuff. We'll be getting into that. We'll be using that to study from, in addition to some long post stuff. We'll probably do like a few Alex Ross things today, but nothing major. I actually kind of want to gear up to maybe do more of that stuff on Wednesday. But today is going to be kind of a segue from the old master stuff we did last week to this. So, okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes, 30 seconds.
20 minutes and 30 seconds, and we're starting now.
So we're just going to jump right into doing a warm-up set of gesture drawing to just kind of loosen up a bit. So if you're wondering about the weird format that I have right now, it's I have both my displays turned vertically because I'm finding I'm getting a lot better results for my figures because I can move my arm more vertically and stuff. Something about it just feels right for me, so I'm gonna keep going with it. So the name of the game on these twos is just going to be well, obviously just to warm up, just loosen up and stuff. But I'm going to be trying to like look for like line of action and stuff because I'm going to have a lot of time later with the much longer poses that we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be doing like 10s and 20s and stuff tonight. We'll probably do a set of 5s after this as part of the segue and warm up. But it's not going to be out of the question to do a full 20-minute pose tonight a few times. So I want to really see if I can get like the action of the pose feeling pretty good for these warm-up twos without worrying too much about the structure. It's kind of funky. Get rid of this that I didn't really know what to do with. So I'm just kind of following the action lines for that. Be a lot of extreme poses in this too. The poses that we're doing tonight are going to be very, very static. Except for the more dynamic Alex Ross stuff that we're going to be using too. Yeah, like this is how I mean, like if just like I just want to make like kind of line of action stuff like this for right now. Yeah, my favorite lyric of that Frank Sidebottom, uh, that Frank Sidebottom song at the beginning of class is well, it's a parody of the Smiths song Panic on the Street or Panic or whatever, and the lyric is a parody of the Smiths song's lyric, which is like. And the music that they constantly play, it says nothing to me about my life. And the parody version in the Frank Sidebottom song is and the jukebox that they constantly play played absolutely nothing because it's bust. Just the blunt delivery of it just killed me every every time. So among other things, like Frank Sidebottom had like he was like a lifelong performance artist basically, but he had like this weird obsession with the town of Timperley, and which he actually like like unironically actively promoted and stuff. But he also like made up lots of stuff about. So it's like a completely kind of weird like art performance art project character thing for him to do all that. But like there's a statue erected to him in Timperley, and he would also like be often on the streets of Timperley in character, like doing stuff. So like most of the people who lived there got to know him in some capacity when he was still around. And he would give like these Timperley bus tours where he'd have a bunch of like people dressed up as like a bunch of like characters of like performers dressed as characters from like British kids shows and stuff that were in character the whole time, basically, for his magical Timperley tour, where they just like they went around Timperley to various like locales and stuff in a bus tour, and it was just him like basically riffing the whole time, playing songs for people, taking them out to luncheons, whatever, at the pub. Oh, it's a little bit funky. Let's switch to something else. Awful lot of gymnasts. Here's a little bit more standing pose. I just put my whole figure drawing folder into the mix. It's just like that's good for like a 2-minute pose session. We're not going to be working from photographs too much tonight, but I figured we'd want to get like a smattering of them in for our warm-ups. Like most of what we're going to be using tonight will be like from existing work. I should probably put on some stream beats at the very least. So I tried putting on classical music last few times, but I really need to find a consistently not copyright check claimed classical music playlist. Until then, I'm just gonna have to use the stream beats because the stream beats doesn't seem to boink anything every time I use it.
Yeah, Harris Heller, who owns it, specifically went to YouTube and individually approved every single song for it.
Yeah, I want to see if I can find something like that for classical music. Because it helps with like the kind of the study vibe, the academic art study vibe of these sessions too. We go from a very very not elaborate pose. It's a model pose, that last one we had, to a more extreme gymnastic pose. Sadly, I think a lot of these are going to be gymnastics because I just like put the whole fucking folder in, and I've got like a folder full of like thousands, like a couple thousand gymnastic pose images that someone gave me through my Discord. Oh no no no. Mm-hmm. So I want to introduce long poses to people here because long poses are kind of like the super weights or the endurance training of this stuff. Thing about long poses is after you like, if you get long poses under your belt, you'll find a lot of other things start coming easier. Because the act of like really sitting down and paying attention to what a figure is doing and trying to build it up and stuff will inform your quick pose decisions, and vice versa for that matter. You use the quick poses to kind of get a sense of vitality to your stuff, and you use long poses to gain a better understanding and have more time to really think and get proportions right and other things. But for quick poses, that's less important. It's more about like the action or the statement or whatever it is you're trying to do a vignette study from. Oh, this wasn't a gun ad. This looks more like a publicity photo. This is a gun ad. This is like really fucking corny. I'm pretty sure this is a Hollywood lady of some kind. Where did the phrase corny come from? I wonder. You think it's in reference to like, I don't know, corny country bumpkins who still have kind of a never left the farm mentality about their sense of humor or something? I don't know. I doubt that's what it is, but not that there's anything wrong with being a farmer. There's everything wrong with being an asshole, of course. No matter where they come from.
Hello, sweetheart.
What's up?
How you doing?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
Quiet down.
Good talk. I think you said what's going on. Just kind of mushed it. It was hard to make it out.
What? Ooh. How's she doing that?
Lots of practice.
Yeah, wish I could do that.
Try and pay attention.
I'm glad that I can't do that.
Why?
Because it looks like it would be very painful to maintain that posture.
Yeah, but like, if you could do that, though, I mean, like, got a lot of strength and like, like your arms, they'd have to be pretty strong.
I don't think she's in pain. I think she practiced so she doesn't.
Well, I know, but
Yeah, she'd probably be
it
crying.
just looks like a really inconvenient pose that I wouldn't want to go into. It's not something that I would.
Yeah, but if you could do it, then you could show off.
I could, but then that's
Do
like,
you have a wife?
why?
Because then you could show it to your wife. But like, if you ever get one. Or husband.
Is this
I'm not
something
into. I like contortionists are fun for me to look at. I don't really have ambitions of being one.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But, I mean, other people like looking at them. I'm sure your wife would like looking at them. Or husband.
Why are you trying a triangle on their face?
It's just like a shorthand GPS system to kind of get like it's like a brow line or an eye line marker basically with the center line for the face. Like just enough information for me in there to kind of like infer the nose or like the nose. Sometimes I sometimes use it to guess. Sometimes this is the brow. Sometimes this is the eye line. It really depends. It's just like enough information there that kind of tells me what direction the head is facing, so I can like build off it later if I wanted to. I got a stick. So I'm gonna try drawing a little along the lines right now of how I'm gonna be like doing the longer poses, at least for my initial gesture tonight. So I want to get that initial gesture down, then I start kind of working things out more and adjusting. It's like tonight's are going to be long poses, but they're going to be kind of like hybrid long poses that are kind of have elements of quick sketch in them instead of like true long pose stuff. This annoying tendency to draw too big. So I just have to like zoom out. Fortunately, the vertical space that I'm drawing on right now gives you a lot more to work in. This is a lot more because I was also using only half my Cintiq before. If you saw how I formatted those other classes that I was doing. Add a bit. We'll skip the gymnastics for something better. Let's see here. Oh, we're done anyway with the warm-up set. Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, set timer for 7 minutes.
7 minutes, and we're starting now.
Anyway, so I'm going to give you guys a taste of a little bit of what we're going to be trying to do tonight. We're going to be doing a set of 5s in a little bit. It's going to involve a mix of some of the old Masters stuff that we did and Russian Figure Academy stuff we did last week, and some new Alex Ross stuff. So Alex Ross, for those who don't know, is a really fucking awesome. He's kind of like the Norman Rockwell of superheroes, of superhero characters. But let's see here. Do I have a collection of his work? Because like we're only going to need to yank a few things from him tonight. If I don't have anything of him, I do have stuff of him. Goody, cool. So I do have an Alex Ross mix already. This was mostly heads of his though, so we need figures. So yeah, I'm actually going to need to yoink some figures from the internets. It's not going to be a problem though. So I'll just yoink some suitable ones that I think might be good for doing our long poses on during the break here. Let's see. Whoop. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to be trying to look for like full figure, or at least ones that have like a good full figure on them. Something to work with. There's a good one of Spidey right there. It's a really nice one of Spidey. It's a nice one of Spidey, but this is a... Well, I'll throw it in there, but I don't know if we'll use that one for long pose. Very nice one of Spidey. Honestly, I think Spidey might be a good Alex Ross thing, because he's done a lot of Spider-Man drawings over the years. So, like... And Spider-Man, his costume inherently lends itself to drawing figure characters, so... Spider-Man... Oh, that's neat. The 90s superhero Prime, like Alex Ross did like a different version of the same theme. Because like Prime was basically kind of a Captain Marvel, Billy Baxton, Shazam character, but kind of like with a 90s thing to it. So very kind of roided out. And very violent, by the way. There's a couple different versions of this Captain Marvel pose that I think Alex Ross used and stuff. Yeah, we'll be ideally looking for poses that are fairly clean. I think we have enough to... Well, what the... Alex Ross did an Andy Warhol drawing there, or painting there. Of him as a superhero. Oh, wait, figure. Yeah, this is Alex Ross's actual childhood drawing, and then this is him as an adult. How he draws as an adult, draws and paints as an adult. It's a really nice high contrast spider. I'm gonna throw that in there, even though we might not use it. I'm making like a mix of like really good figure drawings of Alex Ross stuff. Oh yeah, this is how Alex Ross makes his photo reference, by the way. Actually, let's see if we can find some more here. I think there's this one. This was an homage to a J.C. Leyendecker piece, but he shot reference for it. Maybe yank some of these if they have some good side-by-sides to compare. Huh. Is that what that was based on? Yeah, that's him setting up the photo for the reference for this. There's a great picture of Soups right there for sure. It's another great Alex Ross. Oh, that low camera angle, really nice. See if we can find some more full figures. I mean, there's plenty of full figures to pick from when it comes to Alex Ross. Captain America has some good ones. Although, like, inherently, like, his arm is usually covered up by the shield, so that's kind of annoying. But he does have some great, like, full figure poses of him. And I can... Oh, yeah. See what I mean? The shield covering up most of his body. But there is a bunch of other stuff of him by Alex Ross that's more full figure. Like that. And that. Let me think. So we did Spider-Man. Alex Ross Spider-Man. Let me try that again. Oh yeah, there's an Alex Ross suit that somebody edited into one of the Spider-Man games or something. I don't know. Or unused thing. Okay, Google, stop. It's a pretty good Spidey overhead, so we might not use that one. So there's usually a lot of really good, like these model sheet kind of sketches that Alex Ross does for himself when he's kind of figuring out the character or whatever. Some of these are, I think, some of these are for like turnarounds for sculptures too. So some of these might be really fantastic to do studies of. But we'll see what would be best as we go through it. No. Yeah, but yeah, ideally I want to find like nice clean figures like this one of Bizarro, for example, is a really good example. Really good example, even though he is kind of like heavy in shadow. This is nice. Their arms are a bit covered up though. That's a good one. That's a really good torso right there. I'm going to yoink some other images here, and we'll do like 5-minute post studies, I think, of a bunch of Alex Ross bits in the 5-minute pose mix. That'll be fun. Just yank a few more here. Let's see. See if we can get a few more dynamic poses in him. Oh, that's really nice. One of his preliminary drawings. Alex Ross dynamic. Action. Oh, let's just try Alex Ross. That's a good Black Panther. That's also a good Black Panther. That's also a good Black Panther. I think that's a figure. Oh yeah, I actually saw the that sculpture has been on tour. I actually physically saw that sculpture. It's based on Alex Ross's work, the Captain America sculpture there. It's really nice. It actually does kind of feel like you're standing next to Cap in life-size form. All right, so we're gonna get started on a set of 5s. We'll be using Alex Ross a little bit for this. Actually, let's see. Well, I don't know how suitable this set is going to be. Alex Ross. Figures. But I might like let's maybe see if I can throw together a mix right now of, let's see. I already have a mix of like some stuff we used like last time we were here with like the Russian Figure Academy stuff. So let's try maybe Russian Old Masters. Let's copy paste that. And Alex Ross. Mix 1A. Okay, cool. Exporting the Alex Rosses into there, and now we'll go over to here. Select folder. There you go. We got 202 images. So now it's a mix of Old Master paintings and Alex Ross and Russian Figure Academy and some other things. So we'll get a nice mix today. Let's maybe start like with the 5-minute poses on some stuff like this that's a little bit more plain. And then we can combine it with like whatever Alex Ross wants seem right to do in the moment. So let's see. Oh, also this is a this is what I was doing earlier today to kind of warm up. Like this is kind of in the vein of how we're going to be drawing today for these the 10 and 20 minute poses. All right, so this is still kind of a pseudo warm-up set, these set of 5s. So we'll get started. Okay, Google, set timer 20 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes, 30 seconds. Dead on arrival. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes, 30 seconds.
20 minutes and 30 seconds. Starting now.
Damn me, Google. All right. So we'll get started on this pose. Brett Booth has super good poses. Yeah, we'll take a look at during the next break. Remind me. And I need to check the Discord during that. One of the problems that I do have with this setup currently, of the double vertical monitor display, is it's like really awkward for me to check Discord or anything else. I need like 1 or 2 more monitors for the setup to work. Like you have a TV that I'm actually putting stuff over on that I look at in OBS. The TV is actually physically off, but it's plugged in, so it counts as like additional workspace. So I'm able to show stuff on stream, and I'm able to see it in OBS, so I can watch it when you guys are watching it. But it doesn't really work for too much beyond that. Like I really need like two new monitors in here. Should really start looking into some like cheap displays that might help me with my multitasking. Be good to have just in general. I mean, ideally I want to get like some monitor upgrades in the future too.
I would just grab your iPad and just kind of set that up as a dedicated
I'm using that as
Discord
I'm
monitor.
using that as an Elgato Stream Deck right now. I do have a
Yeah.
laptop. I'm gonna be exploring tomorrow. I actually have the laptop open to the stream dashboard on Twitch. I'm gonna be exploring tomorrow a way to set up my desk so I have like a kind of a setup where I can monitor stuff a little bit easier with my laptop. I might be able to like monitor Discord and Twitch chat at the same time like that. Because you can like do the split app mode kind of thing in Mac OS. So these are still kind of like quick sketch poses right here, so they're going to be apparently just a little wonky and stuff. But try to get value out of them in the 5 minutes you do have. Also, I wanted to play Valheim yesterday, but I don't know. I need a little bit more rest. I did enjoy like getting that medieval village started. I so want to go back to that, especially if I get other people interested in playing with it. Like if I get people who are down with signing up for a play date for that, I'd be so keen to do that. That medieval city that I was looking to build. I was using it as a means to do research into like medieval architecture and other medieval like customs and stuff. Really fun. I did learn some interesting things last week about medieval architecture and stuff. And now I'm kind of vibing with that. Like I've moved from that. There's a Netflix documentary series on samurai that I've started watching. That's really interesting too. And it reminded me of the series The Drifters. I actually really need to look more into Japanese feudal history, but good starting point that I'm getting into so far is the Age of the Samurai. I think is the name of the documentary on Netflix. Now there's this anime called The Drifters, which is it's by the creator of Hellsing. So it's very kind of it's a very extremely edgelord, let me put it that way. And there's a lot of really off-putting things about it that I don't off-putting and problematic things about it that I don't like. But there's a lot of interesting things that it does. Oh, let me switch from this. But there's a lot of interesting things that it does do. I can hear my voice right now. Hello? Test. Okay, thank you. So here's a Alex Ross pose. This one's kind of lost its shadow, but since we are just getting warmed up here, you can use this as an opportunity to kind of...
Is that a Bizarro?
Yeah, that's a Bizarro. So I'm establishing the head and the head angle real quick. I hope I have enough space to draw this. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit to make sure. Can I kind of like lightly put in a very light touch gesture here? Sort of kind of rough in about where his body is a little bit. He's got a very exaggerated barrel chest there. I think my head's a little small now, and it needs to come up slightly. Center line in there. The side plane. I'm thinking more about like the pelvis like an action figure toy lately. These kind of ball socket sort of things for the thighs. You're gonna be having me go quiet an awful lot during this stream, by the way, because I'm starting to like really vibe with the studying that we've been doing lately, and so I'm starting to go more into figure drawing, draftsman concentration study mode. A lot more. So because his body's lost in shadow, I kind of had to reconstruct a little bit of the front of his body, which is part of the challenge of this pose. I'm also not really adding in any of this detail, really. This is just like a quick 5-minute study. His head's a bit small from that 5-minute study I did. So how's everyone doing today?
Well, my
good.
brain seems to be broken with drawing the last 2 weeks, so I'm basically going back to square one.
Also, fun fact, sometimes you will appear to get worse at art when you are studying the right things because you are introducing a lot of like information that needs time to process.
Yeah, that Loomis head class just broke me.
Yeah, it takes time to process this stuff. You just got to practice it repeatedly, and it eventually sinks in. Like a lot of times, like stuff that you are introduced to, as long as you practice it and you stick with practicing stuff, like it's like a months later, oh, now I see why they did that, or I'm still doing that too, like all the stuff that I'm trying to learn. It's just how it is. Like this, we're trying to do like a really complex thing when we are drawing figures and trying to understand figures, of course, when we're studying them as well. It's a lot of information, and it kind of takes time to time and regular practice to click. There's just no shortcut for it. Some people will have better aptitude than others at certain aspects of processing that stuff, but everyone goes through a processing period. And that is, and just because something's not sunk in yet, and you're kind of really getting it, badly, that's a sign for you to, of course, like reevaluate what you're doing and stuff. But you should always be continually reevaluating. You shouldn't be stagnant with your studies. But if you do get a good instructor, like say you enroll at like New Masters Academy or Watts Atelier or someone who's like experienced and who really can give you the stuff that you really do need to study and get right, and practice and repetition, then that's cue for you to trust the process. Like it's not going to be the 10th or 12th figure, like long pose figure drawing that you start to get things start to click on. It's going to be like the 100,000th or something. Not it's going to be like the 700th of these, or like the 2001 long pose or something. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Whatever the time frame is. You can look at other artists at their progression arcs who have like put in like the regular work every day and gotten good. And I think we're on the right track right now, honestly, with how I'm doing these long post studies. We kind of sort of broke ourselves into them last week, and I think sticking with them in a mix of quick poses would be really beneficial for all of us, because it gives everyone a time to really sit down and think about what they're drawing with the figure, and it'll give me more of an opportunity to like tell people when they need to peel back if they're getting too complex too quickly, because there's like a lot of people that I can already anticipate some of the problems I'm going to see people having with doing long poses. Like they're going to be rushing too quickly into detail and other things, and I'm going to be making a lot of similar mistakes myself, honestly, because I'm really horrendously out of practice with this stuff. But I'm gonna give you I'm gonna show people like the Eric Gist figure drawing manual thing, which is a little kind of a pointer guide. I would maybe combine it with like watching the Proco channel, because Proco was actually trained by Watts Atelier and Eric Gist and stuff. You know what might be cool is if we did like a Proco challenge series, because Proco has like tons of those free tutorial things on their YouTube page. Like you could literally structure like a multi-class curriculum around Proco's videos. I did a little bit of that like last year with like the Proco bean body and stuff. So that's something to definitely think about. One thing that you'll notice too, like after you get some long poses under your belt where you really have to think about the pose and stuff, is your shorter poses will start to speed up. And not because you've decided to go faster, but because you have a better sense of what to do next from having like done it in slow motion for long poses. Yeah, our next set after this is going to be 2 10s. But I feel like I feel like I'm off to a good start with these practices with this practice. Like this feels a lot meatier than stuff we've done in the past. Like we've kind of relegated a lot of stuff to very kind of like dynamic quick poses, but that kind of like put me into a bit of a rut in some regards. I think now is the time to really pare down on paying attention to what the model's doing and trying to get some better structure and stuff. Of course, it took a while of like almost kind of like working up the confidence to get to that point. Okay, so what's going on here? Okay, I think here's what's happening here. This leg is long. Needs to come shorter here. This heel needs to go in like that. I normally wouldn't do this, but fuck it. This is just a warm-up. So then like that. And then this foot could come up a little bit. Let's adjust this now. Okay, Google, stop. Just pause it on this dude here. So I want to make these corrections. Yeah, no, this foot can come down a bit. I'm just trying to get something in the, like, a little bit more in the ballpark of what I'm seeing. It's inherently not going to be perfect because this is quick pose, and also because I still like need maybe like a week or two of doing this regularly before I can start getting my accuracy down a little bit better. But I think sticking with basically a format like this combined with like quick poses would be a real winner. For the classes going forward. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, this guy's a little bit more successful. His head's a bit small, but it's an easy fix. Just add more mass to the head. This guy head's a bit small. There's also some other issues going on with him, but whatever. It is a 5-minute study, so. Okay, Google, set timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
All right. Dumpster fire, Brad. I've been getting worse for months. You don't get worse. You only get out of practice. You get back in practice, you'll get back to wherever you were, where you were last. There is such a thing as like practicing things that can hurt you and instill bad habits, but I mean, if you're moving in the right direction with what you should be practicing, then you'll be able to defeat that. Here we go. Let's see what people got. Those are the warm-up sets with the more gestury doodles stuff. Yeah, really keeping it loose. Also, I will invite people who, if you are pretty inexperienced when it comes to figure drawing, I will invite, instead of doing a freehand pose, I would recommend taking a screenshot. Maybe I can upload the image to the chat. I would recommend taking a screenshot of the image that we're going to be doing the long pose or the 10-minute pose of, and instead of doing a copy, well, you do a copy study too, but do a draw over study of long pose. Like start breaking it down into shapes, and find its gesture and its line of action, and break it down into simple shapes and stuff. People still getting kind of oriented with warming up. So what I'm doing here is like a shitty version of what I used to do in figure drawing class in college. And it's going to take me quite a while to get back worked up to where I used to be in that regard, because I'm horrendously out of practice with it. It does take regular effort to do. Sketchy face playing with cartoony poses and stuff. Yay. We'll figure out ways to make this stuff more dynamic too in these sessions. But anyway, I'm gonna grab a quick bite to eat real quick. Also the drink, and then we'll get started on another set of 2 tens. The name of the game this session is going to be like lots of long poses, so we'll have plenty of time to really slow down and pay attention to the pose. almost back there. I was just getting some chicken and rice. Okay, Google, stop. Alright. So let's pick what pose we're going to do for our 10-minute. There's a lot of good ones in here. We can even do poses we've done previously. See it blown up. This is a well. I mean, like I don't like how the leg is covered up there, or this part of the arm, but this would definitely be good to do because of how visible Spider-Man's torso is. But not right now, because I want to kind of get people more geared up first. This is a very nice kind of shadow comp sketch, close-up of Spidey there. But you can see there's his deltoid. There's like a little bit of the shoulder bone, the collarbone coming back in there to the pit of his neck and stuff. I didn't include this one. Oh, well, yeah, there's some neat stuff in there, but this is not something I would study. I would study from necessarily. I think this is good, even though like his foot is vanished. We have this foot here, but his foot's vanished there, which is kind of an issue. But I do really like this one, so we may do this one. This one, same issue, except with his forearms and wrist, but that still is a really good pose. I like the contrast here, like this skinny middle-aged man, and then boom. That's really nice. I like this one because there's a lot of gesture in it. It's Old Master drawing. All right, so I think I think we're probably gonna do the. Maybe let's do both the Black Panthers for the 10s. That'd be fun. I'm gonna pause it on that. I'm gonna take a few more bites and get some water, and then we'll get started. Feel free to get started on this one, but we're gonna start with the. Feel free to get started on this one with a little extra cheaty time. So we're gonna start with this pose. Skinny old dude turning into a buff young dude. Literally Black Adam. Yep. What was the UK Miracle Man? Miracle Man, the UK copyright circumventing version of Captain Marvel. Alan Moore did some very interesting things with. What was their version of Black Adam in that? It was like Vile Nasty Man or something. Sorry if I was ASMRing that chicken twice. A little bit too close to the mic. I gotta get some water real quick, and then I'll unpause the thing to start the real set timer. You can get started on the pose now if you like. Oh, that was a cup. Empty cup. All right. So, okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes, 30 seconds.
20 minutes and 30 seconds. And that's starting now.
So we'll be doing both of the poses of Black Panther. Is there a way to maybe just hide the... Let's see here. I'm gonna look up something real quick. I might have to... Here, let me reset the timer, actually. So we have super extra long time to draw this pose. Okay, Google, set timer for 2 minutes.
Second timer
Whoops.
for 2 minutes. And we're starting now.
Damn it, I fucked that up. Okay, Google, cancel timer.
Okay, consider it canceled.
Okay, Google, cancel all timers. Sorry, I was trying to fiddle with some interface stuff in clip. I'm gonna reset this timer again real quick. Sorry about this. So I really want to give myself the full time to do this. Okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes, 30 seconds. Okay, Google, set timer for 10 minutes, 30 seconds. Actually.
Second timer for 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Starting now.
Yeah. Fuck that up. A little sidetracked with something that I should really find out about on my own. Off stream. But if anyone knows how to like hide the menus in Clip Studio, like this right here, I'm gonna get rid of that.
I think it's tab.
Well, not tab. Tab just does this. Speaking of the Black Panthers, there's a film about one of my personal real-life heroes, Fred Hampton. Sort of a dramatized biopic about him and the Judas who, like, helped the cops murder him, basically. Fred Hampton was an amazing, amazing fucking organizer. Like, he was... the name of the film is Black Messiah, Judas and the Black Messiah, or something like that. And Black Messiah does not even begin to, like, cover just, like, how talented and fucking amazing Fred Hampton was. Like, here's why he was fucking great. He got, like, people of disparate backgrounds, not just black people. He got people of all backgrounds to cooperate together and organize and stuff. He was really fucking good at that. Like, he got all these disparate different gangs and stuff in LA to start working together and like affecting positive change in their communities and stuff, and act as activists, feeding kids and stuff. Like, he was really fucking... He could have done some amazing things, and he had, like, the charisma and the vision to, to be, like, a real uniter in the system. And, racist cops assassinated him for it. And it's an absolute tragedy. Travesty that no one has ever really seen justice for to this day. Like, they straight up murdered him. It, like, shot him in his sleep. Or shot him in his bed after he'd been drugged, presumably. Yeah, like, if he'd gone on to, like, have a lengthy career as an activist, like, he could have, like, radically changed not just, like, civil rights politics, but just, like, politics, the landscape of politics in the US in general. Like, he could have gotten, like, a massive amount of, like, working people's support for all kinds of, like, really great shit. Like, it could have been something even bigger and better than, like, the New Deal that he would have been responsible for organizing. But they killed him when he was like he was still in his 20s. In his early 20s when they killed him. The system feared him that much. So I can't really speak to Black Panther stories. But I would love to see would love to find out if there's any Black Panther story, like the Marvel character Black Panther. If there's any stories that really try to carry the spirit of Fred Hampton in some regard. Yeah, like, easily Fred Hampton is, like, in, like, one of my top 5 personal heroes of all time. Way fucking up there. Get the angle of that hand wrong. But the hand is just a roughed in hand, but the angle of that arm is off. This is just a 10-minute pose, though, so it's not a true long pose. And in fact, like the long poses we're doing today are almost kind of like warm-up prep for the long poses that we're gonna try to get keyed into this week. I need to do a lot more warm-up in order to like properly kind of teach and tell people what they need to be doing in these. So just treat these as a time to really slow down. And do a lot of the same stuff we've been doing previously for other stuff, but do it in like super slow-mo. Got a tricep there. I think that's part of his. Is that part of his body or part of his? That's part of his body back there. So this is just a study, and it's not meant to be a master copy study. So I'm not too worried about it being inaccurate. But I do want to like try to go for some accuracy here and there. So that's the idea. Like, this is the kind of stuff you do as you kind of work yourself up to being able to do a master copy. Now, what a master copy is a master copy is you basically reconstruct the stuff that the artist went through to do the piece, basically. Not everything, but you try to replicate a lot of the similar steps they use to like kind of work up the piece, sketch it out or whatever. And you try to like get it pretty spot on close. Not like photocopy close, but the purpose of a master copy is to not make a fancy master copy. The purpose of although I mean like if you do a successful master copy, it should look pretty damn good. But the purpose of a master copy is to like learn from that artist by doing it, by copying their technique and reconstructing what they made. You can do master copies in other mediums too. You can do master copies in animation, for example. I think an equivalent of that in music is to do covers of existing songs, or to just practice existing songs rather than, than perform just your own. So then you can use that to understand the music and start thinking about how you construct your own music. So this is a study. Oh, geez, that hand is really poopy. This week we want to get into some hand, and we want to get into hand stuff. There's a little bit of really crummy Hogarth, Burn Hogarth hand construction going into this thing right here. I might elaborate on this a little bit more for my own satisfaction, but I'm not too worried about the hands being a little poopy right now. The cool thing about these long pose studies is it gives you an opportunity to really slow down and think and put the pieces together of everything you do. So we're going to do the other Black Panther pose now. Okay, Google, cancel all timers.
All right, they're both canceled.
Okay, Google, set timer for 10 minutes, 30 seconds.
10 minutes and 30 seconds. Starting now.
Right. We got this torso that's heavily leaning towards us here. We're seeing like the top of the rib cage right here and the top of the shoulders. So the thing about this guy right here is he's one of the reasons why I picked him, because like a lot of people are still kind of getting acclimated to doing long poses. You can potentially do a silhouette study on this guy if you feel you need to. But this guy casts a really, really strong silhouette that it's pretty easy to read, and you can read the negative shapes around. Some of the Spider-Man poses also have a similar good silhouette because they are unadorned costumes. They're like those kind of skin tight. Skin tight outfits that don't like have capes or anything getting in the way. I can beef up that head size now. Oh yeah, this pose is gonna break a lot of people. I mean, I'm having trouble with it as it is. Sometimes it's okay to get like thrown into the deep end. We'll get some planar poses for the some longer ones. We might do another set of 2 10s after this, and then we'll finish up with like 2 20-minute poses for the evening. I think that might be the plan. Is this week's episode the final WandaVision episode? I think it is. My question is, what's gonna take WandaVision's place? For at least for as far as Disney Plus goes, because WandaVision picked up interest after Mandalorian finished.
I think it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Isn't that a movie or is that a series?
I think it's a series.
Series. Well, I mean, I'm not complaining if it is. I want to see Bucky.
Yeah, I searched it up. It's a television miniseries.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And what do they got after that? Because I think that Disney's Plus is trying to dole out their content right now. For we don't have like a Mandalorian type thing running. We'll have another thing that is also going to generate the same kind of interest. That seems to be their strategy so far, which is, gotta say, it's working.
Oh no, this post has break me.
Mm-hmm. There's foreshortening going on in it. For both the arms and the legs. But it's very much like a realistic version of a Jack Kirby pose. I'm gonna go back to Chikala here. It's a tricky pose for sure, that one. I kind of wanted to throw some people in the deep end with that one too. So I'm going to strongly recommend for people that attend my classes here, you can either use a free thing like Proco or something, but I want you to start making a regular habit out of watching Proco videos or modern day James and stuff. Try to make it like a daily thing, like watching some of that stuff and trying to practice the stuff in the videos. If there's a particular area that you're struggling with that you want to focus on, you should definitely do that. But it's a good idea to kind of zip around a little bit too, so you can kind of get an overview of what you're going to be doing is headed. Or there might be some missing stairs that you didn't pick up on that you do when you jump around a bit in the different videos that are available on Proco and Modern Day James and other YouTubers' site. But those are the two main ones I recommend, especially Proco. Proco actually want to start using more for these classes too. So I'm actually going to start taking more of a look at him, and then maybe I can start making recommendations for what people should be watching from him, and also apply a lot of what he talks about in them. So I think that would help people get their bearings. It would also help people practice on their own when I'm not around and stuff, and autonomously, and it would also help people walk in here feeling more prepared. But for now, just try to do your best. Okay, so that's the end of that pose. Okay, Google, stop timer. Okay, Google, stop timer.
All right, consider it canceled.
All right, we'll do another set of 2 10s. I'll just pick something for what we're going to do for the next one here. Probably do more plain pose This one has foreshortening in it and stuff, but it's a little bit more plain. That one might be good, although it is kind of punched. Yeah, I mean that's a great pose, and I could definitely get something out of studying this, but a lot of people here would be very lost. Yeah, we'll do this guy next. The guy on the left here. You can also maybe rough in this guy too if you like, but mainly concentrate on this guy. Stoked for Avatar Studios. Oh yeah, yeah. I wish I was good enough to get hired by them. But that's why I'm practicing. Yeah, you can see how I'm starting to improve for sure. Like there's bits and pieces, there's lots of like missing stairs in my practicing efforts and stuff, but like this is a pretty big jump up today from what I've been doing previously. And I think the answer is to just keep doing this, really. Like this is the like let's look at this like after about, let's look at this again and contrast and compare like these on this page to what I do in about a month of like nearly daily practice like this. Yeah, if you're able to fit in the time, you definitely want to be doing more practice than just what I'm doing in here, preferably before class, because then you can get more warmed up. Like I said, Troco is pretty fantastic for finding subjects to study from. And also, now that I'm showing people how to do long poses, I would really recommend doing like 10, 20, 30 minute, even hour-long pose studies just on a single pose. I didn't even time these. Like, I don't know how long I took on each of these. If I had to guesstimate, it took about like 45 minutes on a couple of them. And it's cool too, because like I get like all my weaknesses exposed. Like my weaknesses with hands here gets exposed. Weaknesses with my leg construction, my foot construction get exposed. Like all the hazy areas that I don't quite understand yet, I can like look at this as a record of what I need to kind of figure out more, so that I have a more confident idea of what I'm doing. That's why you do this. Like it's easy with quick poses are fantastic, but quick poses can also reinforce weakness if you are repeating the same bad habit over and over again repeatedly. So I think we're going to be starting to do some more long poses as a means of... quick poses are great for vitality and also for quick observation, but you kind of do need it to do a mix of them with long poses to get the full value. We're always going to start, like, we might do a full quick pose session again, but I really like the direction things are going now with longer poses. Because having more time to really think about and construct a figure, I think, is only going to help us. Yeah, you can see this guy. I did using the Russian Figure Drawing Academy reference where they have like a skeleton up next, standing next to the skin on human being in the same pose. So I just drew the skeleton and then I just drew skin on top of it. None of these were draw over studies. These were all copy studies. So it show like it's like the training wheels are starting to come started to come off for me as far as like doing long studies goes. I still think it's a good idea to do draw over studies too. But I will definitely do some in the mix as well. But for now, this is definitely helping me the most. Did I even set a break timer? I don't think I did. I'm gonna get a okay Google, how much time left on timer?
It looks like you don't have any timers set at the
I'll set a
moment.
timer for 2 minutes and then I'll get some water. Okay Google, set timer for 2 minutes. Okay Google, set timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and we're starting now.
But I think we're off to a strong start this week, and it'll only get stronger because it's like a matter of building the art muscle now. I will be trying to tell people how to pull back. There we go. Surprisingly well handled here. I mean, there's still problems and stuff, but I mean, like, for such a tough-ass pose, there's parts of it that are handled a little better than others, but I do get a sense that the top of the torso is coming towards us and the arms are going away, so on. Some more gesture.
Yo, Spacedad,
Yeah,
can you look at mine? Look at mine.
spikes.
Yeah.
I don't think you posted it. Oh, there. Yeah, I'd say you're definitely a beginner. I do like that you're putting floor grids in, but there's a lot of stuff in here that, like, I don't know. I'd have to see more of your work to see where you're at overall, because I don't know if you're doing these for stylization, or if this is okay. Google, stop. Because like there's like bits and pieces in here that like seem like good information, but it is kind of crude. So I need to see more of your work to really evaluate what to do with you. Yeah, I think here it's starting to come off the rails a bit on these. The long poses kind of really exposed things a bit more. But the quick poses like have some energy in them that I kind of like. Like you're trying to put energy in what you do, so that's good. As you start to understand what the heck it is you're drawing and get your manual dexterity up and so on, then having energy behind what you're doing is always going to be good. So for this pose here, I'm going to direct your attention to Eric Gist's figure drawing manual. So this is a free PDF from Eric Gist's website. Eric Gist is one of the instructors at What's Atelier. I learned him from him previously. And I'll copy paste it. But for those of you who are new, something like this is what your 20-minute poses when we get to that later should look like, or at least even your 10-minute poses should look like. They should be very, very simple. You can put in a few shapes, I guess, because we are doing the quick sketch stuff. But generally speaking, you should be like keeping them very simple, and you should pay more attention to proportion and placement. Like, it's not gonna be perfect because this is just a study, and it's also kind of a pseudo quick sketch. But I want people to try to slow down and pull back and stuff. I'm gonna be a bit of a hypocrite about that tonight because I'm still kind of in quick pose mode, so I'm gonna be very sketchy with my stuff. But as I get more used to this procedure or procedures similar to it that I'm going to be using, my stuff is going to start looking a lot really cleaner like this. This is a Riley method pose, by the way. I'm gonna maybe see if I can do something along these lines. Let me see if I can maybe place how can I place this here and have it off to the side so I have it as reference. This is why I need a third monitor.
Do you know if there's any video material reference on YouTube that properly demonstrates the Riley method?
Yeah, there's a few. Well, Proco actually has some stuff on it, and there's you can specifically look for it on YouTube, but the best resources that I've seen for Riley method is the Watts Atelier stuff, because their stuff is very, very their video tutorials. It's freaking $100 a month to sign up for that, though. Their video tutorials are basically a lot of them are very Riley method based, and there's also New Masters Academy, which has Riley method video courses and stuff. So I'm gonna try to. I have this set up. So let me try this real quick. So I'm gonna maybe put this up in the corner here for people who are new. On yeah, here. But I want you to pay very close attention to this handout here. Here, I'll link the PDF in Twitch, and I'll link it in drawing corner in my Discord. And pay very close attention to that first chapter. Yeah, you're gonna want to read the text when you get the chance, by the way. One sec, I've got to. There we go. So it's not a bigger image there, but that'll just like keep people oriented on what they need to concentrate on for this. So it's not unheard of to like spend like a whole 20 minutes or even an hour on this phase, getting this phase right. So that is something to keep in mind as we work on this. So I'm going to try to do a demo similar to this, but if I deviate from it, it's because I'm not totally in tune with this method right now, and I'm still trying to figure things out. So, okay, Google, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
But I'm going to try to do something like it. So one of the things you want to do when you start doing something like this, you want to mark the bottom of your page to kind of contain where you're going to put the figure. And you kind of want to gauge like the widest points of the figure, like I think like his arm over here, and then his elbow somewhere down here-ish. His elbow is somewhere about here, I want to say. Just kind of guesstimate. I can adjust those later. Those are just kind of gauge marks. And I sort of have like a rough ghost line here to sort of triangulate things a little bit for me. I don't have to necessarily stick to this completely, but now I have like a sort of a loose guideline of something I can use to measure the pose. So let's see. I'm going to try to hold my pencil in a way that works well for this, because it's easy to pull really sketchy lines with my digital drawing tablet. Let's see. I need to establish my head first off. So I'm trying to get like the head, the basic head shape in, because that's going to be a unit of measurement for me figuring out the pose. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's about 7 heads, 7 or 7.5 heads high from top to bottom. His heel is about somewhere right here. His foot goes down a little bit under that, so 7 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is a pretty spot on measurement here, I would say. So that gives me enough confidence to go with figuring out the pose now. So let's see. It's usually a good idea to start from the head and work down, but you can pick different areas to work from if you have a good measurement starting point. I'm going to maybe stick to the Riley method thing. So I'm starting with kind of like the establishing the head a little bit, the clavicle right there. Let's get that, and this arm's a little bit down here. Tops of the shoulders kind of. So the way this works is you find the landmark of. So first off, you establish the head. You get like the neck area kind of in here like this, where you find the pit of the neck, and then you find the top points of the shoulders. That you create like this kind of like clavicle rhythm line. And that's not anatomically accurate clavicle, by the way. That's just like kind of a rhythm line for the scaffold. Then you use the pit of the neck as the starting point of your center line to come down to like about the pit of the crotch. You can use the measurements of the head to figure out where the pit of the crotch is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's somewhere 1, 2, 3, 4. Somewhere around here-ish. So get that. And then these Riley method rhythm lines that work like this, where it's kind of like this kite shape almost, from the top of the shoulders down to the pit of the crotch. And then there's more Riley method. Well, first off, I'm gonna like put in a little tilt here for the tilt of the hips. I'm using the tilt that I see in the pelvis that's visible on screen here, right there. But then I use this rhythm line coming down from the side of the neck down around to the side of the hip, right there, on either side. And now that I have that, I can use, as you see in the handout, I can just use a very, very simple shape, simple curve, going down all the way down to that simple shape I made for the foot down there. Hip should probably be out a little bit more, but oh yeah, no, actually, okay, that's fine. The crotch is over there, but then the thigh is like in here because like 3D crotch. So I'm seeing like the leg is actually bent a little bit to the side a bit. So the cool thing is like, because these are like such simple lines, they're pretty easy to adjust and erase and so on. If you're doing this in charcoal, like you'd be doing these pretty light. And so they're pretty easy to kind of erase or to true up or whatever. So now we got this leg here. And keep in mind these legs, like all these lines that I'm using, these follow the rule of gesture and the line of action right here. These things that I'm doing here. They may describe the outside of the figure, but they still use every bit of the stuff that we covered like in the Alex Wu gesture drawing class. They just use it in a different way. Let's see here. So his legs kind of going inward like that a little bit. Let's maybe do something like this. So it is when the knee's bent, you usually like do something like you'd usually do like some kind of like intersecting two forms like that of the thigh. In this case, I'm establishing a little bit of the kneecap there, because why not? Maybe correlate that kneecap over here while I'm at it. So I didn't really get to the arms, but I'm going to do that now. Keep them very simple, like just simple curves or similar to like how I handle the legs if the elbow is really evident. Yeah, working at this stage, it eliminates detail. And the way I'm drawing right now, like, it would be good for people who are new to this method to really spend a long time doing these. Like, even like an hour or something per pose, working at this stage to try to get it right. If something looks off, just erase it, try again and stuff. So yeah, this feels pretty good, actually. In fact, doing more of these would be a good idea, I think. So I'm going to give us a mini, like, 2-minute break before we go to the next pose. I'll keep it paused on this. Okay, Google, set timer for 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And I would like
Second
people...
timer for 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay,
Starting
Google, cancel all
now.
timers. Okay, Google, cancel all timers. Cancel. Okay, Google, stop all timers.
No problem. Consider it canceled.
Okay, Google, set timer for 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
2 minutes and 30 seconds. And we're starting now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do like how you spent a lot of time with it, but it's really evident that like drawing at this size on iPad is going to hold you back. I would say that well, if you are going to keep drawing on iPad, try to draw in the largest possible space, largest possible vertical space that you can while you're doing it. The other thing is that I think a lot of people in here are going to be really severely held back by this stuff until we get large drawing pads for people. Or, because what I'm doing right now, I'm working on a 22-inch Cintiq right here that I've turned vertically. That kind of is about the same. It's roughly a similar size to the kind of pages as this giant drawing board that I have with me. Holding it up right next to it. It's a 24-inch drawing pad, I think. So this kind of mimics the feeling of that. And you're gonna have quite a bit of a relatively, and you can still study like long poses like this on a smaller workspace digitally and stuff. But you're gonna have a much better time, get a lot more out of it. If you maximize your drawing space as much as possible. So everyone just do your best for now on this. I'm gonna say that for this next one we'll do the same pose, and I want people to try to take another crack at it or try to fix the one that they just did. But really slow down, pay close attention to the handout that I gave you to try to keep things like really simple. And really pay attention to what the pose is doing, so you can try to imbue that in the rhythm lines. But bear in mind, what I'm giving you right now, this is something that is really very difficult for newcomers in some regards, and that there's going to be a few missing stairs here from what I'm having people do. So do not beat yourself up on trying to do this, because okay, Google, stop. So do not beat yourself up on trying to do this. I'm going to work with people here to try to fill in those missing stairs this week. And some of that will be like the Proco stuff I recommended. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep going on this pose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be building on this pose. I'm going to be fixing this pose if anything needs fixing, but I'm going to be also building on it to the next stage a little bit, adding some more shapes and so on to it. So, okay, Google, set timer for 10 minutes, 30 seconds.
10 minutes and 30 seconds. And that's starting now.
So we'll keep going on this. We're definitely going to go back to another Alex Ross thing, too. But I definitely want to keep us on this for a little bit, because I think this is a really good plain pose right here. It's got contrapposta in it. It's got one leg that's very clearly being balanced on. And it's a really damn good drawing, too. It's good to have your eyeballs on good art. It starts imbuing, it starts wedging into your brain what good art looks like. And what good anatomy, understanding, and stuff in drawing looks like. So don't worry if like you're getting your ass kicked by this tonight. It should kick your butt. I want you guys to keep coming back to the art gym and trying again and again. We will. I want to. Part of what I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm going to be taking a look at what people have done. I'm going to be trying to strategize about ways I can fill in those missing stairs I was talking about, of stuff that will help people get better results in here, or give them stuff to practice in their off time, so that they can walk into these sessions more confident. But I will say this, like, even if you are struggling, the act of really scrutinizing a human figure for a while, paying attention to how you're drawing and stuff, even if you're getting stuff wrong, you're engaging your visual memory, and you are like exercising parts of your brain that might be a little atrophied from lack of development at the moment. And that is normal. I had to go through that, and it's really tough. And it's so worth it. I'm still kind of going through that, honestly. I've got a lot more practice I got to get in before I can get like really good consistent figures. But stick along with me. I'll try to help you guys because it's going to make me a better artist to help you guys. So I'll be challenging my knowledge with trying to break down the information I need to understand too. But some of those missing stairs I'm going to be taking a look at tomorrow in my Discord chat. We'll be having a study session where I'll be doing, because I'm going to be doing this what you're seeing on screen here. I'm going to be doing stuff like this every day for my personal practice. And I've been looking at a lot of stuff lately to help me. And I'm going to try to share some of that with people tomorrow. And maybe we can go over some of those missing stairs that people might be struggling with. And what's cool is that like I can show people that stuff, and I can talk about some of the stuff in them, but really honestly, like the stuff speaks for itself. Like the Proco videos, for example. Like that stuff, the information is like there for you to study and then put the work in on. But a lot of you guys are in here are getting like a taste of like your first long pose figure study of something. This is like a facsimile of what you get when you go to like a long pose figure study class. What we're doing tonight. But you really have to like sit down and pay attention to a figure. You can't use the fact that you're doing a quick sketch as an excuse to be sloppy. You have to pay close attention to what you're doing. Of course, I'm a hypocrite because I'm definitely not paying as close attention to this as I should. But I am trying to make decisions here. I think I made the torso egg rib cage a little long. There's a few other issues going on here, but yeah, I mean, like this is from considering where I came from earlier in the week. This is a big step up, and so I've only got more of these to do. So I'm really fucking up this knee here. I need to do more studies of how knees work. This might be an opportunity to do just that, actually. But I mean, like, it's an opportunity. Like in the future, I think what I want to do when I run into a problem area like that, I'm going to do like little bitty anatomy studies to solve that problem, like on the side. That would be a good idea, but I'm not really prepared for that. I think that I've been thinking about like the strategy of doing that because that's something that would come in handy for doing professional work too. Like you need to solve a drawing problem. You have your reference, your problem-solving reference folder handy, full of like weird hand angles, weird shoulder angles, and other stuff that'll help you solve that stuff. Another thing I'll say, folks, that I strongly recommend doing, and that I'm starting to do now too. Surround yourself in your workspace with lots of good artwork. If you have art books, or you have a means of printing out pages of good artwork or anatomy reference and stuff, start printing out the pages and having them and like put them up on the walls around you in your workspace. Because you'll be able to like kind of glance up around them to refresh your eye, even when you're like practicing something, or they might have cheat sheet things on there for you to pull from. They can also help you kind of push the quality of your studies and your work too, by having them up there to remind you to not get as sloppy. I've been trying to do that a little bit more lately, and I think I'm going to be doubling down on doing that this next week. I really need to like get another couple monitors actually, because if I get 2 more monitors here, I can do that easily, digitally. Basically, I'll have like a multi-monitor setup with like tons of art reference and other things. I'll have enough space to multitask too, so if I need to use a chat box or something, I'll still have plenty of art reference up everywhere. I'm saying like his hips maybe should have been higher. Right here. But I mean, that's the point of drawing like really, really simple shapes like this and stuff. So you keep it, easy to fix if you make a mistake, and it's also so your mistakes are easy to track. But I hope this kicks your butt today. Kind of wanted to give people, I wanted to like throw people in the deep end on this. Like I said though, if you are really struggling with this, I would suggest taking a screenshot of the reference and doing a draw over. Doing a draw over study. Like, oh here, let me pause it real quick because the pose just ended. Here's the print screen key. It's on my other keyboard. So let's see here. Let's actually bring him in because I want to see how much I got pretty close to what I was drawing. Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and that's starting now.
So I might do a draw over study to just show you how you can do a draw over study. You get good value out of it. First, I want to check my pose. It's inherently not going to be perfect to what I did, but I can immediately see like I made my head a bit small. Actually, let's move that here. There might be some narrowing issues going on because of the narrow workspace I have on this digital drawing tablet too. But I know it's not going to be perfect to what's up there, and that's okay. It's just my interpretation of it, and also I can check to see how like a gauge of what my visual processing is. Like yeah. So let's see. I'll try to get like what I'll try to like shrink it until I get something that's like a little bit closer to what it is proportionally. Yeah, I got it pretty way off in some respects. So what did go wrong? Oh, there we go. I bulked this up. Okay, that's feeling a little bit closer to the figure a bit. So there's definitely proportion issues. The overall feel of the pose felt better than it looked to me. But here, look. I don't really want to like change my drawing too much from what I put down, because I don't think what I put down is necessarily too bad. But I do want to maybe make some adjustments. I'm gonna make some notes of that. But first, I want to do the draw over study. So I'm gonna take a little detour here. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
Second timer for 5 minutes, and that's starting now.
Okay, Google, cancel all timers.
Okay, I canceled both of them.
Oh, I fucked that up. Oh, there we go. Okay, Shift Tab. There we go. All right. See if I can upload this to chat. Yeah, there we go. A 13 megabyte file, jeez. But yeah. That might be a little large, but so I'm gonna invite you guys along to do a draw over study for the next 5 minutes or so. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
So there is some stuff I got right. I think there's like proportional things mainly. Yeah, there's like this kind of narrowing effect that I think is part of it is like the fact that I'm drawing on a vertical Cintiq. There's a tendency to want to draw really narrow and long. Here we go. We got this bottom of the rib cage tilted that way, I think. Wait, no. It's more like this. More like kind of straight on-ish. At a very slight angle. But if we're using like the, well here, I'll do like a quick block into the head. Let's get that in there. Alright, so using the top of the shoulders here. Come down to the, you can use like the rhythm D going down to the pit of the crotch. So. Down around to the hips for the buttocks here. Then you can like drastically simplify the legs, like so. Yeah, you can do a draw over in like this in the style of like a figure land, like how you would do the figure land, and that'll teach will teach you a little bit more, like visual accuracy with what you're doing. Bear in mind, you're not trying to make a copy of what you're doing a study of, unless you're like you're doing a master copy. But like if you're like doing a real figure, or if you're doing like a real figure, you inherently will have to interpret and not like directly copy what you're drawing, copy what you're seeing. So there's room for interpretation, but you want to like make fixes so it's plausible. And so I'm using this draw over right now to sort of make notes for myself about what I got wrong in the initial figure. Like this draw over right here is almost kind of like a cheat sheet. And also bear in mind what we're doing with these long poses. This is a workout. Like, you're not necessarily going to use a long pose technique for the regular comic work or whatever else it is you do like this. This is a way to work your art muscle up. Because like a lot of like even like doing like regular cartoon characters and stuff after getting like several of these under your belt becomes ridiculously easier. Because the point of doing this is to increase your structural and spatial awareness with drawing something really difficult, which is of course the human figure. One of the toughest things to draw. What time is it? It is 8 o'clock. We'll probably finish with one more long pose. So I'm going to give people a little chance to catch up. Maybe do a little bit more of the draw over study here. Okay, Google, stop. And let's figure out what we're going to do for our final pose. We'll do like a long 20-minute pose. Maybe see if we can find a suitable Alex Ross pose that might work for our purposes. Close out in a cool superhero pose. There might be some of the poses kind of in this vein might be good, although they're kind of really static. Not very dynamic. But they will keep us honest. So maybe I can find a really plain pose, kind of like that. But we'll see. Something that'll keep us honest. That's really nice, but unfortunately it's like shrouded a little bit too much in shadow. We kind of need to see more surface. This one of Superman right here might work. Even this one of Cap might work, even though his shield's kind of covering up his waist. Ooh. Yeah, there is a lot of like stuff covering up his in shadow there, but that one might work. Do a speed run through these real quick to see what else we got. Whoops. Okay, I'll go back. So we're gonna do one of the Supermans, I think. Oh, this looped. Oh, actually, what was this? Atom Smasher. Ooh, yeah, this one might work. Yeah, because you can kind of see, you can like see the shading contours of his body a little bit, so you can see like the surface area of his body a bit. But let's do this. This is gonna be tough because it's a straight on pose right here. Or actually, with this 20-minute right here, maybe let's give ourselves maybe 10 minutes to do the profile view and 10 minutes to do the straight on. So, okay, Google, set timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have us do both the profile view of this and the front view. The front view is tougher, so I would start with the profile view. But Superman is gonna keep us honest today. Alright, so mark the top and the bottom of the pose a little bit. I kind of started a little bit too quickly with the gesture, but that's okay. But you want to decide where the pose starts and ends when you're doing a long pose. With a quick pose, you can often kind of improvise a little bit more. But let's see here. I want to like figure out what his head measurement is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's about 7 heads. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need them a little bit bigger. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Got it about right here. Okay, that's his head. It's bottom of his chin, right here. So the widest point is his back. I'd say it's about a head and a half long, a little bit more maybe, right here. And then like his waist from his buttock, it's like about here-ish in size. So I have kind of a loose scaffold here that I can use. Alright, so now I'm going to establish his head a little bit more solidly. Get like a little kind of a Loomis head thing going on here. So I'm delving a little bit more into kind of quick pose territory with this, because I kind of need to with this profile view. Like there's a little bit more for me to grab onto with a pose that's less direct like this, or symmetrical. relatively speaking. And for this, I'm not going for absolute accuracy. I just want something that's kind of plausible to what to his proportions. And once I have this, then I can use it to find the general proportions of his like turnaround on the left there. Like I said, if you are struggling with this, I would recommend copy pasting the screen and doing a draw over study of this. But I figure closing out the evening with Superman keeping us honest would be a good idea, because this is ending on this, I think, will give people something to wrap their heads around a little bit. This turnaround of Superman. I want to expose people to the act of doing turnarounds, because we're going to do more of them in the future for sure. And I want people, and that's good. The turnarounds is going to be an essential tool of a lot of our figure posing going forward too. So we're going to be practicing turnarounds of some of the mannequins that we're going to be using for some of the figure quick pose studies and stuff too. It's a good idea to practice on Supes with doing the best you can from observation to kind of get his proportions right. Use his head as a unit of measurement. Like, get this. Then you use your thumb and your forefinger on the page or on the screen to kind of figure out roughly about where each of the heads is. I counted about 7.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7.5 for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, 7.5. Just about. But you can use that to sort of gauge the proportions of like his arm, for example. Like here, do we check his arm on the page? 1, 2. So about 2 3/4 or 2.5 or something. So 1, 2. Yeah, I got pretty close there. There's probably a little bit more that can be adjusted to it, but the arm's pretty in the ballpark. 1, 2. So his head should be down to where the bump, the rib cage area is there. Then below that, there's another bump. 2. So let's see here. 1. So the top of his belt should be 1, 2, 3. So maybe like this. How much time we got? We got 1 minute 30 seconds on this pose, and then we'll do the front view of soups. So tomorrow, we'll be doing like missing stairs studies and practice and consultation in my Discord. So if this kicked your butt tonight, come to the Discord tomorrow, probably around this time, tomorrow evening or earlier in the day, and we'll be doing a study session here. And also, if you see me on Ethan Becker's Discord, feel free to ask questions there too. Like if someone has a serious art question when we're in the middle of bantering about me, just say, hey, Spacedad, I have a question like from your class that I'd like to get feedback on or something. Like we'll move, like we can move heaven and earth of people vibing in chat for you to go over your thing, because it'll be really important. So yeah, I'll be mostly on here tomorrow for the study session, but I'll also be on Ethan's Discord, probably for my warm-ups at the very least, or for when I'm relaxing after a session like this. I'll go back here. So that's the timer, roughly. Yeah, like start getting relentless about wanting to practice this stuff for sure. And like Proco and Modern Day James and stuff, like looking at their videos will help you get the missing stairs you need to help you figure out what you're looking at and how to study it. Proco especially, I would say. Modern Day James has some shape stuff that will help a lot of newcomers, but Proco is especially accessible for newcomers. And also, I think I'm about please remind me, folks, I'm about overdue for a setting up your workspace chat, because remember how I said like I need I think that people need to try to set themselves up so they can get as wide of as big of a drawing space as possible to get the most out of these sessions, or they need to get like a large drawing pad that they can do the studies on. I want to kind of maybe go over people about that in the future, because I feel like the way that you use your tools is going to also hold you back. And I think that was something that I sort of should have realized, because I've kind of realized it before drawing different ways on my Cintiq. How you use your tools can make it harder or easier on you to get the lines that you need, or exercise the visual muscle memory you need. So I'm not trying to do an exact copy of Alex Ross's amazing work here, but I'm trying to like understand some of the information in it. So I'm doing kind of my crappy cartoonified version of Soups here. It's really simple compared to what he did. Oh, we're about ready for the front view. So I'm gonna do that. And this will be the last thing we do tonight. So, okay, Google, set timer for 10 minutes. Okay, Google, set timer for 10 minutes.
Second timer for 10 minutes. Starting now.
What was the first timer? Well, anyway. We're officially starting on the front view pose. So I have my measurements from the profile view. And I can use them to sort of place out the general proportions and spots. To rough in real quick on a first pass on soups here. But symmetrical views are challenging to do. This front view of soups here. Because they challenge your ability to keep things pretty similar on either side. Like an asymmetrical pose with cockeyed hips and shoulders and stuff is easier to do. But if you have something like a profile view, or even another 3/4 view, like if we had another 3/4 view pose of soups here, that would definitely help. But we don't, so we're going to be making do with this. Yeah, I'm going a little bit too much detail too quickly. So this is challenging for me too, and that's also why I did it, because this is going to keep me honest. This is going to expose my weaknesses to try to do this. And that's the point. Like, if you want to get better at this stuff, you basically got to cavort around in the nude, which is an expression I've used before several times already. You got to get used to cavorting. You got to be proud about flaunting your flaws, because flaunting your flaws is how you're going to get better. And I don't mean being an idiot about or an asshole about flaunting your flaws. No, I just mean like when you like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Because you're like, how are you going to get better if you're not good yet? If you don't give yourself the breathing room to make mistakes. Lord knows I'm making tons of mistakes right now. And I'm seeing a lot of them too. That's the thing. Like, that's why I wanted to do this, because this very quickly exposes your weaknesses. A pose like this. Also, I bet something funky gonna happen when I do this. Yep. See? Flipping the pose. Then you can really see like how things are going funky symmetrically. Yeah, you have to get used to like cavorting yourself in the nude, basically, to expose your artistic weaknesses if you want to get better. And so I'm basically streaking here at the end, showing off something that is definitely a struggle for me to do. A symmetrical front view of an Alex Ross, of a fucking Alex Ross piece. Where there's nothing for me to hide behind. It's just Superman staring me down and getting ready to shoot me with his laser eyes. Heat ray vision, yes. But I prefer to think of them as laser eyes. Thank you. Because it sounds cooler. So I've done like I've lapsed into like a bad habit here I have of line petting, where I used way too many scribbly lines and stuff because I was doing something I was unsure of. That habit usually comes out of me when I'm doing something that I'm struggling with. And so, but fortunately, that's an opportunity for me to lower opacity on this and do something cleaner.
I do that shit too, and I don't know how to fix that.
Lower opacity on it. If you're doing it traditionally, then you rub it down within like a kneaded eraser, or you use tracing paper, or something. Alexa, stop. Or, okay, Google, stop.
No problem. Consider it canceled.
You can tell I'm like running on it. I'm running on a low tank right now of brain fuel. So I used most of it up today, doing all these lovely pictures. But that's what's going to be cool. Like I put in a lot of effort today, and I kicked my own ass. Which means after I go to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna feel a lot stronger, and I'm gonna have a stronger day tomorrow. Yeah, definitely tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow's gonna be a study session. The only way it wouldn't be is if like I'll notify people if it if I really do need to rest tomorrow, which I doubt, because I think I'm gonna have energy tomorrow. Like, then I'll let people know about it in the chat, and we can just do a missing stair makeup day on Wednesday or something, because I'm gonna need to prep for the class on that day. I mean, part of like me doing those study sessions, it's all about pacing my energy. But I'm pretty well rested today, which usually means I'm going to be pretty well rested tomorrow. Like, I am getting tired now, but this is after a good, energetic day. So, we'll see how it goes tomorrow, but I'm very likely leaning towards us actually getting a good session in. And Soups is starting to come together a little bit. I mean, it's still scribbly and stuff, and it's still me kind of figuring things out, but Soups is feeling a little bit better right now than he was. There's still issues, so many issues. This is why I need to enroll in like a real figure drawing class at some point. But I'm gonna have to make do with self practice and studying with you guys, which I'm gonna keep going in after I enroll in classes too. I mean, the whole reason why I started this up in the first place is something I wanted to keep doing, even when I get hired to the industry. If I get hired to the industry, it does depend strictly on how much time I have to be able to do these, though. So hopefully I can keep doing them, because they are really helpful, and they would be really helpful for me even while I'm working in the industry again. So it really comes down to budgeting my time and stuff. So yeah, Superman kept us honest at the very end there about what our flaws are. Staring into our souls as we draw him wonkily. I think I might want to like come back to do another Superman study like this after like a week or two of doing these long poses and like much more heavy duty sessions like this, and then we can contrast and compare where we were then and where we are now. So let's maybe see if we can remember to do this again, this exact sheet of Superman. So yeah, good session, everyone. Dang, made it all the way to 8:30. Oh, yep. When I flip them immediately, stuff goes wonky. I guarantee you that Alex Ross used a mirror, by the way, to fix exactly problems like this when he was doing that. When he's doing the sketch that you see on there. Yeah, Superman keeping us honest. Good shit. So yeah, we'll be getting some more Alex Ross poses on Wednesday this week for sure. So the actual scaffold that I used here was in the right ballpark, but like there's little things about the proportions and the width of certain things aren't quite working. There's some things that are working a little better than others, but this is a big step up for me. So it's a quick sketch. This is pretty fun. There's a little bit of the Bern Hogarth hand stuff coming out in that loose hand there. Gonna be doing hands later this week, I think. I think Friday. Probably Friday we'll do hands. We'll strategize about how to do hands between now and then too. These were fun. But yeah, I mean, it just comes down to do more. Do more of this and keep doing it, basically. And reevaluate yourself when things go funky. So good shit. Let's take a look at what people have done. Don't know if I'm going to be getting to do drawovers today, but I'd like to do drawovers tomorrow, actually. So hold on to your stuff if you come back to my Discord tomorrow. Yeah, these are really tough, especially for the newcomers. But let's see how good people got. That's really nice. Value is really did try, but they like kind of messed up the proportions. Like Soup's hips are way down there, his hips are way up there. This keeps you honest. This doing these turnarounds. I would maybe just like you can do it over. I would do like a draw over study, measuring out his hips and stuff, and also maybe like do lower opacity and then correct the mistakes on this one. So if you did mess up, that's an opportunity for you to overlay and do a draw over study. It's a little lacking in confidence, and I think you could have like if you look on the like you made these legs too complicated, but you're kind of on the right track, I would say, with what you're supposed to be doing. So try to keep the lines more simple and confident when you're constructing them. See, like even though like mine was off, like I was really trying to go for much more confident long strokes with this, relatively speaking. And there's other stuff in this, like let's see here. If I lower the shape layer, you can see how I handle the legs, right? Just one big long shape like that for the long leg, and then just like a intersecting, two of those basically intersecting for the knee joint. Because then you build your shapes on top of that. Like you could have just done that basically for this. I want you to try to practice doing that in simplicity. Arts and goodies. I would say what would help you the most right now would definitely be doing some draw-over studies. I like seeing you try this really advanced stuff, but I think you definitely would want to keep doing this a little bit more and stuff. You keep trying to struggle with it, but it will definitely help you to do some draw over studies and also to pull back a little bit. I'm gonna say though, like if I cover up the line of the left leg, or if I cover up the screen right leg, this gets a little bit better looking. Let's see here. I mean, a lot of it is just a lot of observation and repetition. This is a nice attempt. I think that there's a little bell-bottom thing going on here, and I think you get a little bit kind of confused about how to handle the ankle and the feet a bit, but this isn't too bad. This is a little bit better, I would say, in that regard, for what I was talking about earlier. I think the other one was probably you trying to do shape or something, but I think the proportions are off on this. Like the head to the pit of the head to the pit of the crotch should be a little bit the length of the legs should be closer to the from the top of the head to the pit of the crotch in proportion. So you made the legs a little stumpy. People are either gonna there's a lot of people are gonna be making the legs either too long or too short. That's gonna be a major thing that people will run into a lot. Want to give more in-depth critique. I'm gonna give like an overview, but yeah, bring your drawings tomorrow for tomorrow's in Discord study session, and we'll do some. I'll be happy to do some draw over studies. What book do I have to the right of the screen? That is Eric Gist's figure drawing. That is Eric Gist's figure drawing manual. Here, I'll link it for you in the Twitch chat real quick. It's actually a free book, by the way, on Eric Gist's website. Yeah, this has been a nice, very productive day. I think it's been I see a lot of people struggling with a lot of stuff that's going to take some time to really sink in, and I kind of wanted to throw people in the deep end today to see how everyone handled it. And we can kind of figure out tomorrow how to fill in those missing gaps, stuff that will help people kind of slow down and pay attention and get the maximum value out of each phase of the drawings that they're making. And I'm trying to do that myself. Like I do too much I have a constant bad habit if I do too much too fast too soon in my drawings. I try to go too quickly into shape, or I try to go too quickly into anatomy or things like that, when I should be establishing a lot of other things a lot better, a lot sooner. So me trying to help you guys is going to help improve me too, because I need to bring it back to simplicity an awful lot as well. So anyway, thank you all for coming. We're going to be closing out the stream tonight. I'm going to let you guys all have a nice rest, and we'll meet tomorrow, and of course also on Wednesday for Wednesday's class. So I'll see you guys. Bye bye.